It's a good afternoon and welcome to Queen's Sports Club in the city of Kings, Bulawayo. And we welcome you to this Zimbabwe versus Namibia T20 series. So this is the first game of the 5 that are lined up in this beautiful city, Bulawayo, the game of cricket. Also welcome the return of cricket to this wonderful venue. The last games being played in the men's qualifiers held in 2018. But now we get to witness also the return of the fans to watch this beautiful game. So what happened earlier on? The toss, 2 captains went out. Craig Avine, Zimbabwean captain, winning the toss and choosing to bat first, looking to put up a formidable score, and then later on he'll be looking to defend it. Pretty much something that is synonymous with this venue. Teams normally would love to prefer to sit the target and then look to defend it later on, as the batting conditions are pretty much suitable for setting the score earlier on. So shortly we will be heading over to the national anthems for the two sides. The players currently walking on to the field of play, lining up for the national anthems. That is the two sides, Zimbabwe and Namibia. Both of the teams seen recent match action. In Zimbabwe, they played against South Africa A side just a couple of weeks ago. A series in which it had its ups and downs, lots of positives to draw out from there. And as well, Namibia themselves, they had seen some decent action recently. So the two sides will be looking to build upon those games that they've played prior to this series in trying to garner some much needed form, as well as try out some new combinations in both ends, so that they will be looking forward to the T20 World Cup in Australia. Zimbabwe will also be looking as well to prepare for the qualifiers later to be held in July. My name is Tawanda Eli, and I'll be with you in the first segment of this match, and I'll be joined by Darlington Mtamanazo. Good afternoon, Darlington.
Good afternoon, and how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good weather we have here.
A little bit blustery, but I think it's going to clear up as this game continues. And it's great to have cricket back at Queen's Sports Club and to have crowds allowed to come and watch the game. So if you are in Bulawayo, please do come down to Queen's Sports Club. It's going to be 5 matches in this series.
Definitely 5 games that we'll be looking forward to. So the first one is, like I said, it's today, and then 2 days later we'll be having the second T20. And then we've got an action-packed weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Those games will be played one after the other. Then finally the last game will be played on a Tuesday. That'll be the 24th of May. So teams lining up for the national anthems, and then from there on we'll be back when we go out to the field of play. Right, so the two umpires walking onto the field of play. Just to give you the lineup in terms of what Zimbabwe will be looking like. They're coming into this series with an 18-man squad, Darlington, which pretty much features guys that played in the tour between Zimbabwe and South Africa A, and also a few names that were also featuring in the Zimbabwe A side that went to Nepal.
A couple of interesting names in that squad for me is Brandon Mavuta, back into these Reds, and bowled very, very well in the Pro 20, the Pro 50 and the T20, the franchise T20, and also had a really good run in Nepal. So he's been included in this side. But the side is Pearl, Chakaba, Chatara, Chivanga, Irvin, Jongwe, Madivere, Mavuta, Raza, and Shumba and Tiripano.
Fantastic. As you can see, it's a side that has some of the seasoned players that pretty much represent Zimbabwe. Craig Evine leading the fold, and as well as we can expect Sikanda Raz as well. He will be part of the senior players that Zimbabwe will be looking forward to actually make a mark and impact in this series. But opening the batting for Zimbabwe, that'll be Regis Chikava and Wesley Matevere. Darlington coming into this game in particular with the conditions that we have and the way that we have seen the pitch when he went down there. What will you be expecting?
Well, to me, it looks like it's probably going to be a little bit too paced. We saw that it's kind of mottled, patchy. So we've got some areas with really green grass, and then some areas that are quite bare. So we expect that when it hits those areas that are quite bare, it's probably going to stay a little bit lower and maybe hold up a little bit, and then go through quicker on the greener patches of the wicket. And I think that's probably why Zimbabwe captain Craig Irvin decided to bat first, because I think the best conditions for batting are going to be first up, and will probably deteriorate more for the side batting second.
True. He's having a talk with Farai, the groundsman here, and he also just states that it might get a little bit flatter as the game progresses, so it'll be good to try and put runs on the board. Opening the bowling from the airport end, that is Ruben Trumpelman for Namibia.
And immediately we see a little bit of shape into Regis Chakabva for Trumpelman.
Good start is what Zimbabwe will be looking for, especially in this format of the game, where you really have a little time to try and see what the conditions will be like. And also Zimbabwe will be looking to make use of the power plays.
Seen Regis Chakabva has traditionally been very good at that. Really strong square of the wicket. And is not shy to experiment. Step inside the ball, try and get it over a fine leg if the field where the field is you normally, eh?
Definitely. Regis Chikava, a player who's grown in stature and also in confidence. So I see him being elevated to the top of the order to open up. And a lot of people will be looking forward to him to lead from the front as the opening batsman.
He's missed a little bit of cricket this year. Didn't play in any of the franchise matches, as had some finger and hand injuries. It's good to see him back, and he's off the mark. Just a nicely tucked delivery, deep square leg. Tangeni Lungameni fields.
So Zimbabwe, they put runs on the board. The first runs off the bat, and that is off Regis Chikava. Wesley Madere will be facing. Another enterprising batter for Zimbabwe, that is Wesley Madere, full of potential, I would say. And
through the South African series, we saw him sparkle occasionally with the bat, and occasionally as well with the ball. Just didn't get quite the consistency we'd like for somebody who plays that very, very pivotal position at the top of the order, and often gets to bowl in the power plays.
Some tentative moment for Wesley there. A little bit short of confidence as to how to play that one. Seemed like he wanted to go for the cut shot, but not too confident in the execution of the shot.
lively delivery from Trumpelman last up.
Quick single taken. A little bit of hesitation between the call. Straying down the leg side, and that one will be taken as leg buys.
Obviously, must feel he missed out a little bit. It's the first really bad ball we've seen from Trumpelman. It's been very accurate. He's got them mostly coming into the right-handed batters. It's just the first one at Wesley Madewere that left a little bit. That one was into the pads. Should have been put away.
Again, quick single taken. But Ray just tucked away down to the leg side. Seems as if he's trying to target the legs, try to make it swing into the batter. That's the right-handed batsman coming from the left arm seamer, Trumpelman. So definitely this looks like it'll be a very exciting series. Zimbabwe versus Namibia, T20 format that is full of action all the way throughout. That's up. It'll just drop over mid-on and the quick single will be taken. And that'll be the end of the first over. Zimbabwe, 5 for no loss. Starting the second over, which will be his first from the city end. That will be David Visa and Wesley Madewere facing.
See already a little bit of the crowd that's starting to come into this game this morning.
It's played well. Quick single taken. Good call. Batsman looking sharp, looking to take every single, which is what is key in T20. You've always to be pushing for the singles, keep the scoreboard ticking, as they would say. Love the crowd to come in a little bit much more, braving the weather, and they will be looking to warm up through the action of the match. Oh, well left. Regis cover, keeping an eye on that one. Davis will be encouraged by that ball. Just look for it to come in a little bit more.
He's going to be definitely going to be a key player for the Namibians in this series. David Visa, all-rounder, really important batter at number 5 for them as well. Really tremendous striker of a cricket ball. More than handy opening bowler.
That one coming in a bit more. We haven't seen the ball do too much in terms of swing. Just maybe nipping in a little bit when
Yeah.
quick single taken. Will they look for the second? No. I know Darlington did ask what would be Zimbabwe's approach coming to this one. They haven't played Namibia that much, and from the looks of things on paper in terms of history, what Namibia have done, they've been a very good side, and And from the way they carry themselves, they seem to be confident. But Zimbabwe being a full member side, how would they approach this one?
I think the most important thing is just not to go too hard. That's a beautiful shot from Wesley Madewere.
Clipped off the pads. That's the first boundary. 4 runs to Wesley, 4 runs to Zimbabwe. That's a good shot. Ball just coming in towards the pads just too much, and he clipped it through the mid-on region, mid-wicket region, I'd say.
Again, we see Wesley Madewere looks in pretty good touch. He hit that off our middle stump.
Ah, shot! Went over the head of the bowler. Full face. Another boundary to end the over. 15 for no loss for Zimbabwe. Chumba coming in for his second over from the airport end. Shot. Clipped again off the pads by Regis Chikapa. Misfell, they will look for another one. They'll get 2. Well, Zimbabwe openers seem to be good when it comes to some of the shots that they've played so far. Not anything out of the box, but just playing the ball as it comes.
I think this is a good idea. I think there's always just enough time in a T20 to have a look before you start to be really clever.
Pulled, not off the middle of the bat, coming off the toe end. A quick single squeeze there. I think Regis, his eyes lit up, seeing that short one and completing the shot too early.
I find that interesting because we saw in the last over, Wesley Madewere with a similar attempted pull shot of Trumpelman. I think it's onto them a little bit quicker than they expect.
Yeah. Well played. Quick single taken. And this will be key. Trying to, if you're not going to get pretty much a couple off the ball, try and squeeze a single. Make use of the gaps in the field, because you have to always keep the scoreboard ticking. Make sure that you give yourself a chance to put the ball inside under pressure. Like we saw in the last over, those 2 boundaries, definitely they would have put David Visa under pressure for his second over.
Nice little change of pace from Trumpelman there. Really held it back. See, it gets through to the wicket keeper. The second bounce. Zane Green has done well to collect that. Already we see a little bit of bite there.
A little bit of bite, and also Regis not really sure how to play that one. That's 4. Quick single taken again. Again, I think he wanted to pull that one, but at the last minute decided to play it over the head of the bowler, but didn't get it off the middle.
For me, Regis Chikapa is just looking like he's not quite in form yet. He's been out of competitive cricket for a while now. It's just not quite timed anything yet. I've seen some.
Pulled again. This one comes off the middle of the bat from Wesley Madewere. It'll run away for 4 over mid-wicket. Fist bumps in the center, and it marks the end of the 3rd over. Zimbabwe 24 for no loss. A change of ball action from the city end in the Namibian side. And that is Tangeni Lungameni, left arm seamer.
Just the one over for David Visa. 2 boundaries for the last 2 balls. Some exquisite shots from Wesley Madevere.
Yeah.
It's his 3rd boundary was a pull shot. Ruben Trumpelman, again a shot of the highest class. He's already on 15 of just 8 deliveries faced.
Oh, inside edge, almost chopping that one on. That is Regis Chikava. And like Darlington did say, that he hasn't seen much action in the recent tournaments that have been played in domestic cricket due to injury. But definitely we know his potential that he has. Good striker of the ball. But Darlington, that missing of action for a bit, how much does it play on a batsman's mind in the nature of batsmen like Regis Chikava?
I think the most difficult thing is, the smartest thing to do is to just take you a little bit more time than you would ordinarily.
Quick single. Missed opportunity, they would say, for a run out. It was just a tad little bit short, Wesley Madevere, of his crease there. But good running all the end. And we did see Regis just going across the stumps there to try and just to the leg side to force a single. Like he did say that it'd be good if he just would take his time, just a little bit more time, to have a look at what the ball is doing out there in the middle. Shot finds the fielder. Wesley Madevere looks confident when he plays the shots.
It looks like he's timing it really, really well. It's really effortless look about that off drive. The thing is, just talking about Regis Chikava, is that sort of trying to hit down the ground. You've been away from the game a little bit. Sometimes you tend to aim your shots a little squarer than you should. And that's been the problem with him this morning. Just looking square on the offside and the onside.
Again, straighter. Wesley gonna pick up 4. Good shot. Like Darlington did say, Wesley seems to be timing the ball pretty well. And he finds the boundary. Pressure onto the bowler. Already the run rate that Zimbabwe seems to be going at 3.5 overs. Close to that turn and over mark. Ngameni just having a look at his field. Again, up and over. Will this go all the way? Just one bounce over the boundary. Another 4. Good start from Zimbabwe. And that marks the end of the 4th over. Zimbabwe 33. Start of the fifth over. Change in bowling from the airport end. Bernard Schultz, left arm orthodox. Rasmus might just try to say, let me slow things up a bit. His quick bowlers have gone for plenty in the first 4 overs, trying a different strategy. Quick single taken. Good call. Well, Zimbabwean openers looking very confident in their calls.
Really good understanding between these two batters. See, as soon as one calls, the other comes very quickly. No hesitation at all.
Up and away. Man coming under it. Taken. Wesley Matevere looking to go over mid-off, but didn't time it too well. Skies it up. Easy catch for mid-on running across the field. It's looking good, but that one sees his demise. Zimbabwe lose their first wicket, 34 for 1. Fall of Wesley Matevere brings the captain to the crease, Craig Irvine. Bernard Schultz picking up his first wicket off his second ball. Your take on Wesley's shot selection?
I think he should just had a look at second ball that Schultz has bowled. Okay, yeah, we do want him to take advantage of the power play, but I just have to have a look before you play improvise a shot.
Good shot from Regis. Quick single taken. Well, when the two openers were there with Wesley, the way he was attacking, I think it had given Regis some time to have a look at what's happening. But now it's the captain, Craig Irvine, who better with Regis. You pretty much should just have a look at Bernard Schultz.
Generally, you find he starts quite slowly because he backs himself to hit and clear the long boundaries later in these innings. Once he's spread himself in, he usually scores at a very good strike rate when he does get going.
Gets off the mark. Just tucking that way into mid-on. And picks up a single. First runs off the bat. Quick one from Bernard Schultz. It's not really turning much, it's just how he uses his pace and length. Oh. Regis just pushing at that one. Man, just in the covers here, just almost getting a catch. End of the fifth over, 36 for 1. So with the end of that over, sees a change in commentary as well. We welcome Stato and Stan to the box.
Coming from the city end, Jan Freiling. Starts off well to the captain, Craig Irvine, just pushing that to the field up mid-on. Joining me in the commentary box at this moment in time is Stan Moringana. Stan, good morning. Well, good afternoon, rather.
Good afternoon, Starter. I mean, the weather can confuse you. It's been cloudy and terribly cold today. Zimbabwe start, and then Wesley just losing it a little and not showing full concentration and giving away his wickets.
Well, talking about disappointment, I think with the way Wesley was timing a cricket ball today, he's certainly a little bit disappointing considering he didn't get to the pitch of that one, trying to hit that one over the fielder at mid-on, but catching that ball that led to his dismissal, just getting the outside half of the bat, not going too far, such that the fielder at mid-on had enough time to get under it, and that led to the demise of Wesley. He was looking sweet, he was looking fine, the ball was coming out of the bat, he was looking better and looking set to get a good total there. Regis, however, on a different note, that Wesley has left the field. Regis Takava now taking the opportunity to open up. He hasn't timed it well today, but finally gets the break. First boundary for him.
A desired result, and it will definitely loosen things up on Regis's part. The bowlers haven't been doing the seamers in this regard. The Namibian seamers haven't been doing pretty well with the ball, bowling a little too full and wide. This, not too much swing.
Just the flick off the pads from the ever moving around Regis Chakara. That's one thing he does so well. And continue to talk about your aspect that you brought about in terms of how the seamers have approached this inning so far. The majority of the boundaries have come through the you have mentioned. A touch too full, perhaps still searching for swing?
Absolutely. A much better delivery. You would expect much more of that of the seamers. Probably ask more of the batsmen instead of giving them so much room and so much liberty to play towards their strengths and settle in easier. But on the other hand, the Zimbabwean Chargers will definitely be happy with the way things have been going about.
Last ball, last over the power play. It's flicked off the pads. That's a strong area of Craig Irvine. Will he get the second one? Yes, he does. And at the end of the last over of the power play, Zimbabwe now 44 for 1. From the airport end, the kind of left arm spin. It's worked, it's brought a wicket. Can he get a second breakthrough? And if you're just joining us, where have you been? Zimbabwe earlier on won the toss and elected to bat first, just losing the one wicket of Wesley Madevere in their power play effort. Brilliant, brilliant, absolute brilliant. Zimbabwe losing the second wicket, and that of a struggling Regis Cheka, unfortunately undone by an arm ball. Brilliant bowling from Bernard Schumer. And the cost is such that with the loss of the second wicket, Zimbabwe, just after the power play, are now 44 for 2. The demise of Regis Cheka has brought in an experienced player for Zimbabwe, a senior statesman in the form of Sekunda Raza. He will partner the captain, Craig Irvine. They have a bit of work to do here. Sinner didn't expect to lose a second wicket this early with the way Zimbabwe started. However, lots of work to be done here, Stan.
Yes, it's good that there are two seasoned players in the middle, so that'll be an up for Zimbabwe. Starts off with one of his most favoured shots, paddle sweep, and he manages to pick up 2. He is quick in between the wickets, gets there comfortably.
Well, one thing that has been a good characteristic for Zimbabwe has been the running between the wickets, which I think the Namibia technical staff will be annoyed considering how difficult it is to get those singles in the power play. Predominantly there's more fielders in the 30-yard circle than not, but still Zimbabwe managing to sneak in those ones.
I think taking full advantage of the weather too. Good ball from Schultz. Not much foot movement from Sekunda Raza. Getting trapped on the back foot. That'll be a plea for the bowler.
Well, Stan, the one good thing that Bernard Schultz has done, he's kept it simple. He knows the ball is not turning, and hence his bowled stump line, stump wicket to wicket, and that's all he's done.
Crap the batsman. It always works, and just wait for the batsman to make a mistake, lose his concentration, and just give away his wicket. It worked with the 2 batsmen that fell earlier, and he's hoping.
A good effort so far from Bernard Schultz, and that effort, obviously the captain now, Gerard Erasmus, seeing the need to introduce another slow bowler into the attack. Helio, your front, right arm off spinner, and coming at a timely opportunity because he's bowling to Craig Irvine, left-hand batter.
A lot of width on the first. Craig Irvine won't be happy that he didn't manage to pick out the gap there. Maybe just a bit of a loosener from the France.
Definitely a loosener that was. Craig Irvine himself will look to take a bit of time to get into his strides. He hasn't played much cricket of late. He got back into the Zim 11 side later in the series between Zim 11 and South Africa A. Taking a medical break, but now he's back and back to lead the Zimbabwe national team. not too far away from the qualifiers, but more importantly, soon after this, Zimbabwe will have another long series, white ball cricket that is, versus Afghanistan. And they need Craig Irvine to be back in the form and performing for Zimbabwe like we know he can.
This will be a good platform for him to get back into the mix of things. We know Craig Irvine as a very good player of the slower bowlers, so that could be a plus for him too, coming in with two spinners.
Slightly quicker, but short. And Sekunda Raza, easy pickings for that. Just slowly pulling it down to a vacant fine leg region. There's a short 45 in place. And the bowler here, your front, giving Sekunda Raza easy runs.
And you don't want to do that with Sekunda Raza. He plays that short delivery very well.
Unfortunately, France trying to obviously overcompensate. Ball that one again. Pressure on him. I mean, if you look at the effort by Bernard Scholz, he was good, wasn't he?
He was. He only got two runs from the previous over. Had put a bit of pressure on the batsman.
Short. Pulled. But there is a man in place, fortunately for France. There's a deep square. Now, one question was asked by the gentlemen that were doing commentary earlier was, what is a good score? What is a good total batting first here at Queen's Sports Club, Stan?
With the batting conditions, it's looking favourable for the batsman, and I don't think that the pitch is going to deteriorate much. Sent back really fast by Raza, and an opportunity to take another run. That's the end of the 8th over. Zimbabwe 54 for 2.
The left arm spinner to continue, and obviously continuing with that conversation about what is a good total. The last time there was a T20 cricket at Queen's Sports Club was during 2015, where between the period 2013 to 2015 there's about 4 games that were played. The first series, Zimbabwe versus Bangladesh. The second series in 2015, Zimbabwe versus Afghanistan. The first series, Zimbabwe versus Bangladesh, was a drawn series, 1 apiece, and then Zimbabwe losing to Afghanistan in 2015. Now, the stats do show that first innings performance, pass score, you're looking at 170. Now, 170 plus here will certainly give the Zimbabwean bowlers rather, a good opportunity to try and defend that against Namibia. We know the Queen's wicket, and not just the Queen's wicket, but Zimbabwean wickets in general tend to get slower in winter. So perhaps the reason why Craig Irvine deciding to bat first.
And a lot of slower bowlers on the Zim side too, so reverse sweep there. Doesn't manage to get as much as he would have wanted onto the ball, but he is very enthusiastic when it comes to that shot and usually gets the desired result. If Zimbabwe does manage to get about 170 run. Dot ball on the fourth delivery. Schultz has been doing extremely well with strangling the batsman and not giving them enough room to just rotate the strike or pick out doubles or boundaries. He's managed to keep that scoreboard as low as possible, giving him room there. Here's a fielder in the deep. It'll just keep Zimbabwe down to 2 runs.
What would have been a brilliant over once again from Bernard Schultz. Unfortunately, bar the last ball that went for 2 runs means Zimbabwe move on to 58 for 2. Just looking at the run rate, Zimbabwe, we're close to the 9-10 mark in that first power play. Somewhat it is slightly dropped, just under 6.5. Craig Irvine not hitting his straps as well as we know he can. Perhaps time for him just to knock it around and try give a strike to a more informed batter in the likes of Sikandar Raza, because this is an important period for Zimbabwe. As we see the reintroduction of Seam from the city end, they know it's an important time to try and put on the pressure. The Namibian team are. Zimbabwe have found it tough this little period, especially since the end of the power play, to score freely. Just the one boundary off Sikandar Raza. And Gerard Erasmus, knowing this is the perfect opportunity to try and strangle Zimbabwe. Once again, another good shot, but finding the fielder.
You would have the Zimbabwe Chargers would obviously be looking at that strike rate that you were talking about. Sikandar Raza was going at about just over 100 on his strike rate prior to the over starting now, and probably in his 90s. Craig Irvine sitting at about 64, 66 on his strike rate. Sikandar getting a short delivery, almost carrying to this fielder in this deep square leg. He would have wanted to get that gap and probably get 4 runs off it. You wouldn't want to lose out on such a loose delivery. You were speaking earlier on, Stato, about Zimbabwe having to try and put a bit of wheels on in terms of runs on the board. If Zimbabwe is looking at getting to that 170 run mark, they will definitely have to start taking opportunity at everyone that's given.
Well, I'll give you another interesting stat about those 4 games that we played between 2013 to 2015, is that all the games the side that ended up chasing and that won the game eventually won the game in the 20th over. So that tells you about the slow nature of this game, and at some point you'll have to battle it out, you have to grind it out. There will be some tight periods, such like what Zimbabwe is going through. And fortunately, leading edge for Craig Irvine, but fortunately for him, it doesn't find the bowler. Just going over his head, and fortunately for Craig, he gets the one. Going back to what I was saying, this is the situation now for Zimbabwe. They have to work hard, be patient, and as long as they're controlling the wickets column, perhaps they can always build and look to have a brilliant finish off to the innings and hopefully surpass the past score. Last ball to the over. Sikandar Raza managed to sneak in another single, and that's the end of the 10th over. Zimbabwe move on to 61 for 2. Bernard Schultz, the left-arm spinner, to continue from the airport end. And with that, there will be change in the commentary box. Coming in will be Tinotenda Mawoyo and Darlington Matambanato.
Thank you, Stanley. Good afternoon, Tino Mawoyo.
Afternoon, Darlington.
Really interesting period of play. So far, it's been largely dominated by the Namibians. It's the two left-arm bowlers. Left-arm spin from the airport end and the left-arm seam from the city end. And that's an amazing shot from Craig Irvin. He's had the length. He's been given the length, but he still had to put it away. He's hit it a long way over mid-wicket.
That's a seriously good shot. It's gone a very long way, as you say, over mid-wicket, but he hasn't tried to hit it. He's really just timed that away, Craig.
I think as we were saying earlier, he has this tendency to start quite slowly. And the biggest advantage he has is the ability that once he gets going, he can play shots like that. He can play them with unerring consistency. Shout for LBW. That be outside the line.
Very crafty when it comes to the sweep shots. Craig Irvin saw the conventional slog sweep. He's tried the paddle sweep there, plays the reverse sweep well too. This creates problems for spinners.
It's a little bit of turn. First time we've really seen the ball bite, and Schultz has looked really good this afternoon. Just the 16 from the 3.4 overs he's bowled so far, including that long hit from Craig Irvin, shows you how well he's bowled today.
Bowled with good control. And as expected, bowling into the city end from the airport end, just a bit of grip in the surface. And that's because, Darlington, you mentioned earlier that it's a lot less grass, drier surface, slow in nature anyway. And because of that dryness, it gives the ball somewhere where it can grip. That's exactly what's happening.
There's a conventional sweep from Craig Irvin, and he split the fielders. A deep square leg. That's been an incredible bit of fielding from Hilau Yafrans to keep it down just to 2. And at the end of the 11th, Zimbabwe are 72 for 2. So we see it's a midweek game. Crowds are slowly coming in. There's 4 more after this one. So we're hoping to see a lot of Bulawaans in this week. Bowling change from the city end.
Great bit of fielding. That certainly saved a single for Namibia. And we all know how important every run is in this format of the game.
Looks like Divan Lecoq. Leg spin from the city end. And that's the beautiful pull shot from Sikandar Raza. Been given the shortness and length. He's played that beautifully.
He's a man in good form, Sikandar Raza, and he's not going to miss out on deliveries like that. Stanley Shaw's alluded to the Zimbabwe-South Africa A series that's just ended. We've got some really good numbers in that. And that is one of his most devastating strokes.
So he's given himself room. Just a one for it. But that's just, again, Tino, as you mentioned, a sign of a man in really good form. So already the Zimbabweans have 9 from that over. Still 2 balls to go.
Adjusted nicely, did Craig Irvin. Opened the face. Got himself a single. Outfield's been quite slow, Darlington.
Yes, it has, and it's been as a result. You've seen a lot of really good running between the wickets. We've seen quite a few twos this afternoon. So a couple between Wesley Madevere and Regis Chakava at the top of the order. And we've already seen a couple between these two batters. That's the end of the 12th. It's 83 for 2. Another bowling change, and I think this is a good idea from the airport end. Looks like Tangeni Lungamene. Just 9 from the first over that he's bowled, the only over that he's bowled. That was to a time when Wesley Madevere was scoring at nearly 200. I think we'd expect to see him changing up the pace. Mixing up his pace well. That's a little too straight. Hit it straight. Bernard Schultz as Craig Irvin, and Sikandar Raza scampers through for the single. Well, Tino, always we've got to be thinking about projections, I suppose. 85 for 2 the Zimbabweans are. This is the 13th over. It would possibly be a defendable total here.
Darlington, I reckon 160 is a good score here. I say that because, one, we're talking about the surface being slightly slower in nature. Bit of turn we've seen into the city end, as well as the slow outfield that we talked about. We know that you can chase at Queens
Just this time of the year, outfield hasn't been as good as I've seen it. I think that'll make it difficult to chase down a total of 160. What's good for Zimbabwe is they've got wickets in hand.
And adds rub salt to the wound. Sikandar Raza manages to run an extra single after wide is called. It's really alert and really aware. Sikandar Raza. He saw that wicketkeeper Zane Green had fumbled that catch. He was across in a flash. Already, the Zimbabweans just 3 balls bowled. 5 runs. We see a pull shot from Sikandar Raza, and it's just again a really good bit of fielding. And that is Ruben Trumpelman has had to go quite a lot to his right and picked it up and got it over, just kept it down to 2.
Can't help but admire the Namibians in the field so far today, Darlington. They have been throwing themselves around, making sure they make every effort to stop the ball from crossing the boundary. I can tell you, already in this innings, they've probably saved a good 10 runs. It really has been a spectacle to watch.
The thing about it, it's not just individual fielders. It seems to be the whole team throwing themselves and showing great commitment in the field.
Little chat between Sikandar Raza and Craig Irvin. Always important, of course, to keep that communication going. What are you looking to do? Man, a third man's gone a bit finer. Maybe you can hit it a bit squarer. Vital partnership for Zimbabwe, this one.
Just a really beautiful shot from Craig Irvin. Gets it fine behind square on the leg side. And the partnership is now 51. And Zimbabwe are 95 for 2. Bowling change from the city end. David Visa has bowled so far just 2 overs. And that's a cracking pull shot from Sikandar Raza. And another really great fielding effort. Not as successful this time.
Not successful, but I'll tell you what, it's the determination, Darlington, that really has impressed me this afternoon. Again, a valiant effort. It's gone for 4, yes, but you know what it says to the bowler? I'm behind you here. And it just lifts the team in general. 1 short of 100 now, Zimbabwe.
And for me, the other thing was the quality of that pull shot. Sikandar Raza absolutely creamed it. And that's the 100 up for the Zimbabweans. And just the 14th over. Back of a wonderful partnership between Raza and Irvin.
2 senior statesmen in the Zimbabwean lineup. Cannot overemphasize the importance of this partnership. Looks good, 100 for 2. You lose another couple, will set you back. So they'll be wanting to make sure they carry on this partnership as deep as possible. Look to get to the 18th, 19th over. And really in between now and then, accelerate the run rate.
So you've got to believe that if they do get it into the 19th overs, this pair, or 20th over, then you could revise that projection of yours around 160, probably up by another maybe 15 or 20 runs. Sikandar Raza calls two immediately as he's hit it. And brings Craig Irvin back quite comfortably. What I liked about that shot, is that he's hit it with really soft hands. As soon as he's hit it, he's set off calling two. He knew it was not going to carry to the fielder at long on. Extremely hard.
I'll tell you one thing for sure. Namibia will be paying a hefty laundry bill. These guys are not afraid to get themselves dirty. So good to see the importance of fielding at this level.
So, at the end of the over, Zimbabwe are 105 for 2. Change of ends for Jan Freiling into his third, this time from the airport in for the first time.
Important little period this for both sides. Namibia looking to just tie Zimbabwe back. Try and get some overs in very quickly. Limited number of boundaries. If they can, 1 or 2 wickets. Zimbabwe, of course, early on in the over, closing off the over with boundaries if they can. Trying to run as well as they can in between. Struck firmly, just the one. Man fielding at cow corner on the boundary.
Here a shot of frustration from Sikandar Raza. He was looking to get that into those stands. Long way over the fielder at mid-wicket.
Very big boundary out there. Deep mid-wicket. That's very nicely played. Intelligent shot from the captain, Craig Irvin. Counteracting the slow ball bouncer. And forcing it, find the man at 45.
This is a good start for this. Really 6 from it. Anything from here, if you can close this over off, as you rightly said, to not with a boundary, suddenly becomes a very useful over. And again, we see him looking to go across the line, looking through the leg side. He's gone a long way outside the off stump, which is why umpire Langton Rusere cannot give that one out, LBW.
Good Yorker. Full straight. Not much Sikandaraza could do with that.
We've seen a couple of times, just in the center of your screen, we've seen that Craig Irvin has been looking to get the ball into that part of the ground. And it's just because he's the lone man in that area behind square on the leg side. He knows that as soon as he gets it there, it's just the one. It will be at the boundary. So at the end of the 15th, 115 for 2. And while there's a bowling change from the city end, Gerhard Erasmus comes on, and there'll be a change in the commentary box, and it'll be Eli and Stan. Good afternoon, Eli.
Afternoon, Darlington. Zimbabwe 114 for the loss of 2. Good partnership between Sikandaraza and the captain Craig Irvine.
It's exactly what Zimbabwe would have been looking for after losing those 2 early wickets.
And these two would seek to look to build upon that and try and get Zimbabwe to a decent, defendable score. Darlington and Tina Moyo putting it at 160. Stan, after having a look, what score would you think Zimbabwe would be comfortable posting here?
Yeah, anything above 160 obviously would work for them, considering that we've got quite a good bowling. That's close.
Given LBW, Sikandaraza, that one just seems as if it was pitching on middle stump, not turning too much. And the umpire gives him out, leg before it. And Sikanda, the more aggressive of the two. Zimbabwe lose their third at 115 for 3. New batter at the crease for Zimbabwe, and that is Milton Chumba. Comes in after Sikandaraza lost his wicket, leg before wicket, going for 36. After having a brilliant partnership with Craig Irvine, posting over 60 runs between the two of them. Craig Irvine currently on 33.
Craig had a slow start, but picked up in the middle, striking at over 100 now.
Customary of Craig in terms of how he starts. Just takes his time to get in, but does strike it well towards the end. Milton Chumba looking to get off in the mark at the flamboyant shot, looking to drive that one. Missing the outside edge.
Just a tad bit of purchase there. Haven't seen much of the ball turning today.
Slightly quick one outside of stump. That's from the captain, Gerard Erasmus, Namibian captain. Dot balls are good towards the latter edges of the game. That's something that Zimbabwe will try and avoid at all cost. Giving away too many dot balls. Every run counts at this stage of the game.
And that's 3 dot balls in a row for the new batsman. Captain will be very pleased with his performance thus far, slowing down the run rate.
Just get a single. Milton gets off the mark. A good over save for this one. Just 3 runs off it, leaving Zimbabwe at 116 for the loss of 3 after 16. Change of bowling from the airport end, and that is Helaya France comes into the attack. Right arm off spin. Trying to slow things down. Zimbabwe push for a single.
I'd call that a bit of delivery from your France. In his previous overs, he was bowling slightly too flat. He was giving the Zimbabwean batsman enough time to pounce on him and work his ball around.
Pitching it straight up. That's by Craig Evan. And just get a single. These will be crucial overs for Namibia to try and give away as little as possible. And Zimbabwe would look to try and cash in. But the loss of that wicket of Sikandar Raza might just slow them a bit. It dances down the wicket. Milton Chumba hits it straight. Pushes for 2. Good effort down in the field there by the Namibian side. Good fielding.
The Namibians have been throwing themselves around in the field there. They don't want to let loose on and give away boundaries easily. But a very good shot from Milton Chumba.
Gives himself room. Just bounces. Did it carry? Seems as if it carried to the man in the covers. Milton Chumba for a quick 4. Zimbabwe lose their 4th wicket, 120 for 4 after 16.3 overs. New batter, the Chris, Ryan Bell. Zimbabwe losing Milton Chumba just for 4 runs. Was looking good, playing some decent shots, but just unfortunate he played that one straight to the man in the covers.
And a brilliant catch in the covers too.
Quick single taken. And brings Craig Evine into the crease. He should look to be the one to get things going. He's been there for a while, 34 at the moment, and should look to carry Zimbabwe through down to the last one. Dances down the wicket, but that was well bowled into the pads. And just get a single. End of the over, 122 for 4. The captain, Harold Erasmus, will continue from the city end. Good shot into the covers. Pick up a single again, Craig Evine. Sam, would you think that this is the over that Craig Evine would think I should go big? Or he's going to see his try and play it out as the ball comes?
Well, Namibia has really spread the field out, and there are not that many gaps to pick out. But knowing Craig Irvine as well as we do, he has a knack of finding those boundaries. He has Ryan Bowl too, and Ryan Bowl has it in him to hit one of those big shots at any given time. Getting beaten just on the outside edge. The captain getting a lovely purchase there.
Good purchase, good turn. Joining the batter onto the front foot and missing out the outside edge. Well bowled. That is a very well bowled. A good ball in the 18th over. .160 might prove to be a tall order where Zimbabwe is now at 123 for 4. Unless they can get a good couple of boundaries. Reverse shot attempted. Misses everything. It'll run away for 4. As you can see, bye signaled by the umpire there. 4 runs. Zimbabwe will take them any way they come at this moment in time.
A necessary bounder definitely for Zimbabwe. They have been somewhat dried up. They've been rotating strike well, but not really picking out the boundaries and getting that run rate going up.
Another good ball. Getting some purchase, like Stan would say. And that is Gerard Erasmus. At this stage of the game, a decent over for Erasmus. 5 from it.
Just that loose delivery that went for 4 runs there. But Erasmus has been bowling exceptionally well, keeping it really tight and pinpointing that line and length. Another brilliant delivery from him.
Another top ball.
That ends the over.
End of the 18th, 127 for 4. That is where Zimbabwe find themselves. Air France will continue from the airport end.
He's been tossing it up really well. But you'll think that the Zimbabwean charges now are going to try and go out for it. 3 overs left on the board. We're sitting on 127 for 4, 6 wicket in hands. What would your take be there, Eli?
Definitely Zimbabwe needs to go for it. 12 balls left on the card. They need to get as many as they can from these. Change in bowling. As you see, the captain just pulling your France out of the attack. And he throws back Jan Freilich. Thinking maybe you might want to use your France on the other side. Pace on. Try to pull that one, Craig Evan. They'll try and push for 2, but good work in terms of fielding from the Namibians out in the field.
The Namibians have been doing quite well in the field, despite a couple of misfields here and there, but they have cleaned up pretty well and got the ball back to the bowler or keeper's end.
Definitely they're backing up their bowlers and looking to restrict Zimbabwe to less than 150 from the look of things, unless things change in the next. Ryan Bell goes one. Full shot of the man out there on the boundary. And just pick up another one. Namibia will be okay with giving away the singles, especially towards these later stages of the game. Give away as much as you possibly can. Goes for the sweep shot. Go for LBW. They squeeze a leg by.
Zimbabwe will definitely have to come up with some magic right now if they're going to have to put up a competitive score that the bowlers will be able to defend. The Zimbabwean spinners will be happy with the last few overs that the Namibian spinners bowled.
Crush straight, but that'll go away to the man at long on. All these two gentlemen that are at the crease for Zimbabwe, they really need to show some intent in terms of pushing the score to at least over 150 or somewhere close about there. And they need to get going now. Another one, big one from Craig Evan. Splits the 2 fielders. 4 runs. Much needed boundary.
You'd want to see much more of that from the Zimbabwean batsmen with just 1 delivery left in the over. You'd expect them to try and maximize as much as possible. Anything full, anything loose, they need to whip away to the boundary. On the other instant, the Namibians will be definitely happy with this performance. After such a brilliant start and managing to slow things down with getting 2 quick wickets and then just cramping the batsmen down with the spinners.
Goes for another one straighter. Big hit, 6 runs from Kyrgyzstan. A decent over from Freilich turns into a big one for Zimbabwe. And that marks the end of the over. 141 for Zimbabwe for the loss of 4. All right, start of the last over. Gerard Erasmus, the captain, will try and close off things with his off spin. He's done pretty well against Ryan Bell. He's beaten the outside edge of his bat a couple of times. And he'll be hoping that he can get a wicket here. It'll put his side in a very, very good position. Swings at that one. Pitched outside of stump. They'll try and squeeze the second one. Good running.
Lovely running from the Zimbabwean batsman.
2 from the first. How many would you think they would want to get in this?
Definitely anything above 15 runs.
15. So they have 2 off the first one.
They're going to look for another 13.
13 off 5. According to Stan, they should look for 15. 13 so far are needed. Goes big. Outside edge. Falls short.
Ryan Bill really struggling to connect with the ball. I think he should just try to look to get his captain on strike, who is shown his magnificent form again by hitting a 4 and a 6 in the last 2 deliveries of the previous over.
The one falls short. They're squeezing another single.
Captain Erasmus is changing it up, bowling an arm ball there, almost doing the trick.
So they'll need 12 off 3. Straight to long on and get another single. A good over for Namibia. Just 4 runs off it. It's the last over. Tosses up. Big one from Craig. Clears with ease the boundary. 6 runs. And that will get him past 50.
A lovely innings from the captain. And that is what you call a captain's innings. Coming in right at the time that Zimbabwe needed him the most. He hasn't had to play much cricket. He had been struggling with a few injuries here and there. He didn't play much of the Pro 50 cricket because of medical issues. And this is a lovely way for the captain to come back.
Well, a good one from Craig Irvine. Striking that one at a strike rate of 142. Getting 50 off 38 deliveries. Currently on 54. He needs to finish off good for the... Tries to go big. Good ball. Squeeze in a single. And that'll be it for the Zimbabwe innings. Coming to a close after 20 overs. Zimbabwe 153 for 4 in their allotted 20. Contributions we see coming from the captain Craig Irvine, scoring 55. Sikandar Raza also coming with a decent score of 37 of 30. Wesley Madere a quick 23 of 12. And then Regis Chigava 15 of 21. And then just to take a look at Namibia's bowlers, we have Tangeni Lungameni picking up Brendan Schultz picked up 2 wickets for 19. And then we also saw Hella France, good stint, picked up 1 for 14. And then as well as Gerard Erasmus, the captain, picked up a wicket for 15 runs. So that's the end of the Zimbabwean innings. We'll be back shortly with Namibia chasing 154.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Queen Sports Club, where it's the first T20 International Zimbabwe versus Namibia. If you just joined us, this is what happened earlier. Zimbabwe winning the toss and electing to bat first. The captain, Craig Irvine, not hesitating, preferably knowing the conditions a lot better. But in that effort, first innings effort for Zimbabwe setting a total of 154, a target for Namibia to come in and chase. In that effort, Craig Irvine leading from the front, captain's innings of 55 off 39 balls, supported by Sekanda Raza, 37 off 30, and Wesley, who got off to a good start and ball but disappointed with his dismissal, went for 23 off 12 balls. As we're about to start play, joining me in the commentary box to talk about this game and more, and importantly, this Namibian chase, is Tino Tenda Mawoyo. Good afternoon, Tino.
Good afternoon, Stan. 154 Namibia required to win this T20 International. Zimbabwe will probably feel they could have got themselves 10 or 15 more runs. However, just looking at the surface, the way it's played in that first innings, I probably think if Zimbabwe can get early wickets, try and keep the Namibians to a minimum of boundaries, especially in that first power play, that they'll have a fair crack at this one. Surface rather slow. Ball not quite coming onto the bat. Outfield slow as well. So Zimbabwe go about their bowling business properly early on, and they'll set themselves up for a good finale.
And talking about early wickets, Craig Irvine going to one of his experienced campaigner, Tendai Chitara, who opened the bowling from the city. Immediate shape away from the batter to open the batting for Namibia, Craig Williams and Devan Lecoq. They will have to play a gem of an innings here. Get used to the conditions rather quickly. They'll need to do so and try and get Namibia to start in this power play. Tendai Chitara, as he normally does, getting shape off the wicket. And that one just catching the outside half of the bat of Lecoq, of Craig Williams rather, and that gives Namibia their first run of the day.
It's a good area to bowl to Williams. Just back of a length, fourth or fifth stump. He likes to stay leg side of the ball and just give himself a bit of room outside that.
Devan Lecoq faces his first delivery and lets that one roll over to the keeper. Now these two teams are facing each other for the first time in T20, so obviously they don't know much of each other. However, with modern day technology, there's lots of analysis that goes on about. So through the analyst Mufarish Tumani for Zimbabwe, they would have sat down in a couple of team meetings, worked out plans that are suitable to try and make sure that Zimbabwe puts pressure to try and subdue the Namibian attack.
Good start so far from Tendai Chitara, encouraging. We haven't seen much swing today, but certainly in the first four deliveries, it's got some nice shape going. Bit of carry through to the keeper. That's because that end he's bowling into the golf course end. The airport end, correction, just got a bit of grass cover. You'll expect that the spinners will operate in the opposite direction.
RBW shout, that one nipping back into the right hand batter. But just like you said, the one thing about Tendai Chitara, his major strength is getting movement off the deck. Not as quick as he used to be. One about early on when he burst onto the national stage, especially when he was representing Zimbabwe in the under-19. The ball upwards of 140 clips. But now the old legs are now taking its course, but plenty of experience there. He knows how to use a new ball, does Tendai. Unfortunately, he'll have to bowl that one again. Tendai Chitara, first extra of the innings. And when you're
Got to be
defending on
careful there. It's a man back at deep square boundary, but he's in front. There's no behind leg. So he needs to make sure he stays far away from that leg stump line. Otherwise, free runs for Namibia.
It's the end of the first over. And Namibia 2 for 9. Taking the new ball from the airport end is the man on debut, Tanaka Chavanga. He'll be bowling to Craig Williams. Bright prospect for Zimbabwe, Tanaka Chavanga. He's had to put in some hard strides to try and break into this national team. Has been involved in the Zimbabwe A side for a couple of seasons now. Gets an opportunity to represent Zimbabwe. Starts off well. Generally an energetic bowler. He likes to hit the deck hard. And I think this will work very well for him. This Queen's Sports Club wicket. Tanaka Chavanga, in the absence of Blessing Muzarabani, who is key in the bowling unit of Zimbabwe, comes in for his second delivery in his first over. An extra, obviously try and look to make sure he's not giving Craig Williams room through that offside. He has protection, deep square on the leg side, but perhaps just bowling that one too straight. And an extra, and he will have to bowl that one again.
Now Zimbabwe can ill afford this. Not even through the second over, a couple of wides already. These are simple things that you need to look after as a bowler. That's a much better length.
Well, that is
where
what
you want to be to Williams. Back of a length, struggles to score from that area.
the sort of line that line and length that Chavanga is well known for. Like I said earlier, he likes to hit the deck. He's a strong lad, decent height, delivers the ball at a decent pace as well. But more than pace will be required here because the wicket is not giving much assistance in terms of pace. Once again, another good delivery, like what Tina Mawa was saying earlier. You really want to be back for length, bowling it hard with the wicket, body line to Craig Williams. And you can really see how Craig Williams is practicing the pull shot. That just tells you a story. The sort of line and length that Tendai Chavanga is operating on. Earlier on, we saw some brilliant timing of a cricket ball from Wesley Madevere, but unfortunately, to his demise, just the full length. This time, could be a run out. No. Something similar that happened earlier when Zimbabwe were batting. Those easy singles in the circle.
Donald Tiripano, the fielder, rather deep at mid-on, so had to make a bit of ground, but Craig Williams had set off early, got home relatively comfortably in the end.
Earlier on in off-air, Tino, you made mention of how Zimbabwe, a couple of runs short in their effort, finishing off on 154 at the top edge, and it's the first boundary of the Namibian innings, and to add salt to injury, it's a no ball. Another extra 2 wides earlier, and now it's a no ball. And what that means is a free hit. for Devan Lecoq.
Another extra. Poor delivery, that. He's bowled 3 or 4 really good back-of-a-length deliveries. And the Namibian batsmen have struggled to score from there. All they've managed to do is just defend. Why would you change that? Free hit.
It's short, it's pulled, and it's pulled long. Right in front of square, the leg side. The fielder, Brendan Mafuta, can only watch that sail for a first maximum 6 runs. And that will really hurt what could have been a good over. First over for Tanaka Chivanga rather, in his international career. Not the best of starts, but unfortunately you work hard, you have to come back harder as well. 13 runs so far in the over, with another ball still to come. And the sort of delivery that we'd expected Tanaka Chivanga to operate on is what he finishes the over with. Good for Namibia. It's 15 for none after 2. Tendai Chitara. Good start, but once again another easy single in the 30-yard circle. Something reminiscent of what was happening earlier. You would expect Zimbabwe to be tighter. And it's one of the better fielders in Wesley Madiveri. He's quite quick, but not quick enough at this moment in time. It's an easy one, Namibia. Tendai Chitara will have lots of work to do to try and bring back this scoring rate. Good delivery once again from Tendai. Another 4 more of those are required. The last of Tanaka Chivanga, his first in international cricket, going for 13, and now that required run rate slightly coming down, currently operating at 6.8 on Namibia, requiring 7, just under 8 rather, to the over. Square cut. Wasn't my shoe, but I'll tell you the brilliance of Devan Lecoq says that the little room on offer, he was able to manipulate that and beat the man at point and get a boundary on the square, on just behind square on the offside. Good shot, good cricket shot.
It's not an easy shot to play. He's had to force this away, and I don't have a problem with that. He's had to force the ball from half decent length, not much width. If he's manufacturing strokes, then that's good enough for me. But not getting 4 balls.
Good running, good cricket from Namibia. Once you get a boundary, the better thing that good batsmen do is to try and get off strike. And that's exactly what Devan Lecoq has done here. They say the best place, or the best position to be batting is at the 9 strikers end. And he's managed to get the one and scamper through to make sure he has a better view of his partner, Craig Williams. Another single. It's a direct hit, but the umpire, Langton, was quite experienced, not interested in the appeal.
It's good cricket. Good delivery. Didn't give him room, but he dropped it in the gap. And good backing up. fielded, hits the stumps as well, but not early enough before the man had made. Running between the wickets, so crucial. Supports the boundaries in the over. Just makes the over that much healthier.
Good delivery once again from T20I Chitara. And it's the last ball of the over. At the end of the third over, Namibia 22 for 9. Change of bowling from this airport end. Donald Teripano, another experienced campaigner for Zimbabwe, has been introduced into the attack. One individual who has plenty of skill. Good fielding. That's the captain, Craig Irvine. We talked about how he has been out of the game. I'll tell you what, that fielding is exactly what's needed. And certainly leading from the front once again in the field is Craig Irvine.
Senior statesman talked about how well the Namibians fielded in the first half of this match. Craig Irvine setting the example for the Zimbabweans.
Good length from Donald Teripano. Not looking to give Craig Williams any sign of room here. That's good, brilliant. Hitting a good heavy length. Looks quite a bit uncomfortable when that line of attack is used. Craig Williams certainly doesn't like it on body line. The Zimbabweans have been good, especially when they've utilized that line of attack. However, every now and then when they bowl that loose delivery, that has costed them. We're talking about costing Zimbabwe bowling attack. Donald Teripano, short, wide, and Craig Williams certainly does not miss out on a cut shot. 4 runs.
This is not good bowling by the Zimbabweans. Early wickets is what they needed. So far, haven't been on the money. Too many extras. Too many free deliveries to score boundaries off, and these Namibian batsmen are not letting up on those opportunities. 26 for no loss. Good foundation so far.
What a gem of a delivery. That is the Donald Teripano we know. Just holding its line. That delivery squaring up Craig Williams. What a fantastic delivery from Donald. If only we could have more of those, I'm certain we could have a much entertaining game of cricket here on our hands. Zimbabwe, they don't have much on the scoreboard. They can't keep giving out deliveries. And what a return, what a comeback from Donald.
Good running. Realise that it's gone to the left of Craig Irvine. Wide enough for them to be able to get through comfortably for another single.
Good stuff from Namibia. I mean, they really haven't had to search for runs, bar the one shot from Craig Williams. Cut behind square, just bidding point earlier in the over. But there have been genuine boundary balls given to Namibia, hasn't they? Once again, we talk about how Zimbabwean bowling with ease has just given the Namibian batting attack, bowling effort, easy boundaries. And here at the end of the 4th over, it's 31 for 9. Tanaka Chavanga, change of ends for him. Has been given an opportunity to try his fortune and luck from the city end. Perhaps there might be something for him. Not a good start once again. Something we saw similar than earlier when Namibia pitched on the ball. The Zimbabweans were good in attacking straight down the wicket. It's exactly what Divin Lecoq has the option he's taken. It's brilliant. It's straight. Short. Good fielding from Ngwe. That one's destined for the boundary, but just managed to get a hand to it and slow it down. And just keeps that to 2 runs.
Brilliant effort from Luke Jongwe. Diving away to his right. Definitely saved 2 runs for Zimbabwe there. Fielding so far from both sides has been exceptional.
Once again, a strained line from the big fast bowler, Tanaka Chavanga. Perhaps just trying a little too hard now. He knows that Namibia are going after the Zimbabwe bowlers. It's the second last over of the power play. Namibia are looking to make sure they capitalize and get the most out of this power play. When you're new, when you're inexperienced, this level of play, you tend to try too hard. Sometimes you just need to keep it. Tanaka Chavanga not happy, just showing some signs of frustration. Perhaps it's the pace of the wicket. He generally likes to get it through to the keeper. There's no pace to work with today. Like I said earlier, during the winter season in Zimbabwe, the wickets tend to get slower. This is something that he needs to get accustomed and get used to. Adjust his line, his length, work with the conditions, not against them. Much better. Just to tuck the batsman in. Rather get the 1 as opposed to the boundary. Tanaka Chavanga, one of the bowlers who certainly put his hand up. Had a decent domestic season. Was involved in the Zimbabwe 11 versus South Africa A side as well. Took part in that tournament. And here he is. And his effort getting rewarded. Trying to get Yorker through, but fortunately for him, that ball does not find the boundary, but he does find one of the better fielders in the Zimbabwean side in Wesley Madevere. And 1 more ball to go to complete the 5th.
Healthy rate for Namibia. 8 to the over. Sliding down the leg side. Be a leg by to win the 5th over. Namibia in a very comfortable position. Good start. 41 for no loss.
Change of bowling from the airport end. This is the first time we're seeing Luke Jongwe into the attack. And with that also a change in the commentary box. Darlington and Stan.
Thank you, Stan. My first question has to be where is the spinners? We saw a lot of turn for the Namibian spinners, but in the second half of the Zimbabwean innings, we had a casual bet around that Zimbabwe would get around 170, 175, just 153, and we thought it's because of how difficult it was to get spinners away.
I would have thought that maybe Craig Captain Craig Irvine is looking at Luke Jongwe as an option because he bowls a lot of variation, not too fast, medium pace bowler, manages to bowl the off cutter. So maybe Craig Irvine trying to slow things down a bit, but keeping the seamers on.
So we just saw there that looked like stopped in the wicket. Leading edge.
Namibia will be happy with their performance thus far. The opening batsmen have done extremely well. They've rotated the strike well. They've managed to pick every loose ball. They've got boundaries coming easily at the peril of the Zimbabwean bowlers.
All right, and as it is, it's just 42 partnership in the power play. 42 for none. Just another 110 or so they need to win.
Doing extremely well, the Namibian batsmen. They're managing to steal these singles away, catching Zimbabwe on alert all the time, playing really soft hands. When the ball was coming on a bit faster from the opening pair of bowlers from Zimbabwe, you saw Williams just taking that pace out of the ball by playing extremely soft hands, dropping the ball short of the fielder and managing to steal those quick singles.
And then Lecoq has been brilliant. He's taken toll whenever they've been in line or length. He's just 21 of just 14 deliveries. Strike rate exactly 150. And it's been shots like that. Just didn't find the gap that time.
And then we go back to your question, Darlington. Why haven't the spinners come on board yet?
I think it's just perhaps just waiting to get through the power play. And then, we've got the Zimbabweans have got spinners on the field today. It's one specialist spinner in Brandon Mavuta, and then all the part-time spinners. Milton Chumba, Wesley Madewere, Ryan Girl is one I've forgotten, and Skanda Raza. So lots of spin options.
Plenty.
Yet to see one.
You could be right, probably power play ending, fielders getting spread out, catching options. Play that the Captain Craig is working towards.
Just the one delivery left in this over. Luke Jongwe has been good. Just 3 runs from it. Should just be one. This Brandon Mavuta comes from deep backward square leg. And at the end of the 6th over, Namibia are 45 for none. Well, that spin we've been talking about, Stan, is Brandon Mavuta. He's been really good from a tour in Nepal. Hold some really spectacular spells out there.
He is one of our wrist spinners, natural wrist spinners, and provided much.
And just a notice for me, first thing I notice is Regis Chakaba standing alone behind the stumps. No slip to his right. Expecting a bit of turn. We saw South African captain Gerard Erasmus bowling with a slip as late as the 18th over.
He started realizing a bit of turn in the last 3-4 overs of the innings.
That is a very nice pace from Brandon Mavuta. That's a really good delivery. I think that's roughly where he's going to be.
If he can just dry up those runs. That's not what the Zimbabwean captain is going to be looking for. Maybe trying to bowl a quicker one and just the ball sliding out of his hands. Just relieves the pressure somewhat on the Namibian batsman.
You see, the problem with T20 cricket, I think, from a wrist spinner's perspective, is the ball doesn't really get a chance to degrade, and you're still bowling it while it's got sheen on it, and it's still quite shiny when you first get it. Really, there's just two really, really awful deliveries. In the context of the game, he's really got to get it right, because this is well set for him to actually do very, very well for himself and for his country.
So true. Another short delivery. It's just giving them loose deliveries, and the Namibians managed to steal a second run after a fumble in the deep mid-wicket region by Tanaka. An unfortunate effort.
And then there it gets them past 51 in just the 7th over. 6.3 overs.
And a quick single. They've been doing extremely well with that, Darlington. I'm sure this Namibian batting coach is going to be extremely happy with the way the openers have performed.
So their batting coach is Justin Kemp. He played quite a lot of one-day cricket for South Africa. He played at a time just before T20 became the phenomenon it actually is now. But really experienced cricketer.
Evidence in what we're seeing on the ground right now.
These two openers have gone about this extremely well. Uncharacteristic fumble from Captain Craig Irvin at cover.
Usually has the safest hands.
And that's a really expensive over for Brandon Mavuta. 8 from it, and Namibia now 53 for none. We see Luke Jongwe is going to continue from the airport end. Just 4 from his first over. The Zimbabweans desperately need a breakthrough here.
Luke Jongwe is a smart bowler. I love the way he always plays around with this variation, plays around reduction in pace, and just bowling a quicker one here and there when you least expect it. I think that clever type of bowling is what Zimbabwe is looking to maybe give them the breakthrough. Because if this partnership carries on as is going, it will be highly unlikely Zimbabwe managing to defend that 153 score.
A little bit short, stuck it in. Wesley Madewere, a long way off the boundary to keep that down to just 1. Phenomenally quick across the ground is Madewere.
Exceptional fielder he is.
Craig Williams is just 21 from 27. Just a strike rate of 75. So important that if your partner is going guns on the other end, you don't just don't throw it away. You has to commit to bat through to the end of the innings. And it looks to me as if Craig Williams is setting up his hand. So I'm going to be the one to take this innings deep. And what that does, it's allowed Divan Lecoq to play his natural game, to really express himself without fear.
And I mean, that's what you do expect in a good partnership. Just to have that chemistry, to know when to just give the right batsman a strike. Exceptional shot. Zimbabwean bowlers trying everything possible, but Namibian openers up to the task.
I think personally I'd like to see spin from both ends. As we just saw, end of the back end of the Zimbabwean innings, saw a little bit of purchase for Namibian spinners. It'd be a pity not to use the full resources that the Zimbabweans have available to them. They've gone into this game with 4 seamers and about 4 part-time spinners supporting Brandon Mavuta.
They have the arsenal. Just slightly too short from Luke Jongwe to end the over. And that puts Namibia at 58 for no loss.
Here's a bowling change from the city end. Skanda Raza has his first go in this match, in this series.
Well, this is what you would expect Zimbabwe to do right now. Probably putting Sekanda Raza off on the city end so that Brendan Mavuta comes from the airport end. There seemed to be quite a bit of turn in the first innings. If Zimbabwe puts 2 spinners, good start to the over. You need to slow the run rate down.
And the way I saw the Namibians do it, Captain Kheate Rasmus was quite slow through the air. Tossed it up. Wasn't afraid to tempt the Zimbabwean batsman to go down the ground. I think that might be the way to go here.
Absolutely, bringing the outfielder catches into play. Get them to play that loose delivery, lose a bit of concentration. There's that turn, but just a little bit too short from Sekanda Raza. Williams works it down the leg side for a single.
So far, this is a good over. Just the one to run from it. See what Raza's plan is looking like. He's just going to try and get as many dots as he can. And that's too short. It's been pulled away. It's gone all the way to the boundary from Lecoq. And he moves to 34 of just 21 deliveries.
This has been the unfortunate tale of the Zimbabwean bowlers from ball number 1. A couple of good deliveries, then all of a sudden a loose one that just relieves all the pressure.
And then again, and this one as he found the fielder, and it's just fallen over as he's gone over the boundaries at Tendai Chatara. Managed to keep it down to just the one.
Bit of excitement in the past 2 deliveries. Sekanda Raza's short ball almost doing the trick. Unfortunate for Chatara in the boundary, just not managing to keep his footing.
That was actually Luke Jongwe who's had that attempt on the boundary, and then he realized he's falling onto the ropes beyond, and he's just thrown it back. Really important to keep that down to just 2 runs from that delivery, but must be disappointed about the chance missed. At the end of the 9th over, Namibia are 67 for none. it looks like a change of ends for Brandon Mavuta. For 8 in his first. Quite get it as many in the right sort of areas.
The airport end did work for Schalks. He slowed the run rate down in the Namibian bowling innings, and maybe Captain Craig Irvine is looking to get the same from Brandon Mavuta.
So we did see when we looked at the pitch this morning that there were more bare ends.
Is that top edge?
And that's the wicket-taking delivery, and it's Wesley Madevere. And Brandon Mavuta gets Zimbabwe's breakthrough. It's Craig Williams. Gone for 25 of 33, and Namibia finally are 67 for 1. Captain, new man in is Captain Gerhard Erasmus. Strikers end, Divan Lecoq is going to continue. Brandon Mavuta just got the Zimbabwean breakthrough, changed ends, and was brought on from the city end. Sorry, that's the airport end. And onto what we this morning thought was the bearer of the two ends. Immediately he gets a breakthrough.
Lecoq managing to just squeeze past backward point and short extra. The one thing the Namibian batsmen have done well is the rotation of strike, Darlington.
And it's two things for me. That is probably point number one. And then the second point is they've been absolutely brutal when anything is offline or off length.
Absolutely.
Taken full toll most of the times that Zimbabweans have bowled a bad ball.
Another quick single to get Captain Erasmus off the mark. That has been the story of today.
So what it's done then, it's just not really allowed any of the bowlers to feel their way into a good line and length. If you're not on point from the beginning, you've been punished. So we do know that Brandon Mavuta bowls a googly, quite a good one. He also bowls a slider. So we've only seen leg spinners so far in this over, all four that he's bowled. But should expect to see one of those.
Absolutely. Setting the batsman up maybe, and just get that one in by surprise. Especially with Williams, who's been playing on the back foot and trying to pierce that gap towards deep extra cover.
So I should expect to see something a little bit different with this last delivery.
Beautiful.
Williams plays it well. And that at the end of the 10th, Namibia are 71 for 1. Change of bowling from the city end, Milton Chumba, and replacing Stan and I is Stan and Tino Mawoyo.
Craig Irvine turning to a left arm slow bowler in the Milton Chumba. hoping to find some fortune. Earlier on, Bernard Schultz was fantastic. Even had an opportunity to ball spin in the power play against Zimbabwe. Hopefully, Milton Chumba can bring some good fortune for Zimbabwe and for his captain, Craig Irvine. Just the loss of one wicket so far in the Namibia approach to this target of 154. The wicket coming through the effort of Brendan Mafuta. We're seeing the resurgence, perhaps, of Brendan Mafuta. He did well in Nepal, and that earned him a call back into the national team. And once again, he has an opportunity to perform in the red top.
Milton Chumba, known as more of an all-rounder in his younger days, starting to try and play that role again at a senior level for Zimbabwe. Never really got the opportunities back-to-back after graduating from the Under-19 World Cup team of 2 years ago. Same team as Wesley Madewere. He's found it going a little bit tougher for himself to break into the side and get a permanent place in the team. His performances against South Africa A of late certainly started to show that he's headed in the right direction.
Indeed, hasn't found that consistency in his own approach. But however, has he have an opportunity here? What a brilliant catch. I'll tell you, that is a brilliant fielding. We spoke about how the fielding has been good all day today. And how Milton Chumba in stature and becoming a good all-rounder for Zimbabwe. What a brilliant catch from Donald Tiripano.
It's a good delivery because he's just held it back a little bit, given it some air, and that's what forced the aggressive stroke. Now this is not necessary, I don't think, from Namibia. Got a good platform going, just need to push the ball around. However, it's another wicket that falls. 73 for 2, 11 overs gone.
Nicole Lofty-Eaton. He has to come in at a time where he has strike and facing a rejuvenated Brendan Mafuta, who just took and wicket in his previous over as well. So spin working some magic for the captain, Craig Irvine.
Spin is the way to go, Stanley. Slower surface. Not a lot of cricket has been played, of course, here at Queen Sports Club of late. And that's why the wicket's probably just a bit slow. Summer rain. But on a surface like this, try and get the batsman to have to force the ball away. Use the slow bowlers. And so far, it's done the trick for Craig.
Just the one. Zimbabwe will be happy with that. There has been a flurry of boundaries. And the spin bowlers so far in Brendan Mafuta and Milton Chumba have done a good job. The question is, how long can they do it for? Brendan Mafuta into his third over. Just one more to after this. I'd like to think Craig Irvine will look to bowl him through reverse sweep. Tendai Chitara, can he stop that? Unfortunately, he can only chase and watch it go down into another boundary. What a brilliant shot.
Innovation. Gets the valuable boundary for Namibia. Tendai Chitara, even though the outfield a little bit slow, not quick enough to pull that up before it gets to the boundary rope.
Good cricket from Lofty Eaton. They've got to keep the scoreboard ticking. There's only 2 wickets down, so they can afford to try and keep pushing, try and get as close as possible to that score that Zimbabwe has set them.
I like his approach at the crease. Looks busy. Wants to get on with the business. There's no boundary available. Need to push the ball into the gaps and run hard.
Talking about single for 2, Namibia are. Right arm off spin from the city end. Wesley Matevere taking over from Milton Chumba. Devine Lecoq currently on 40 off just 28 balls. Tell you what, he has been good, and from here forthwith, the success is in his hands. Some good bowling from Wesley Matevere. Bowling it flat, bowling it quick, bowling it into the wicket, not tossing it. He knows once he tosses it, Devine is a good striker, but this time bowls it short and gets the maximum. Full treatment. He's bowling to a man in form. He's bowling to a man who's found fluency on this wicket. You can't afford to let on back of a length. Wesley Matevere.
That's not a good delivery. Looks like he's just rushing himself. He's got to take his time. He's got the right idea. But the execution is crucial. That's much better. Yes, flat, but full. Last one, too short. The man who's batted as well as Devine Lecoq is not going to miss out on such deliveries.
Composure. Wesley Matevere has to find here. Needs to compose himself. Needs to slow things down, and importantly, stop the boundaries. No need to rush himself. Turn. Importantly. Question is, how many more good balls can Zimbabwe bowl without giving away a boundary?
Zimbabwe realize that they don't really need to get wickets. It's the dot balls that count at the moment. Build up the pressure, get the run rate up. 13 gone, 89 for 2.
Another change from the airport end. Craig Irvine just juggling his options. Sekanda Raza returns into the attack. Raza has played all around the world. Plenty of T20 format. Knows what's needed here. Cannot toss it up, that's for sure. Lofty Eaton just looking to charge down, but Raza was aware of that, saw it in time. Just bowled it wide. And just the cut shot to the man at sweeper on the offside. The ones who won't hurt, it's the boundaries that keep coming. And the Namibian batters have not had to do much to get boundaries. Guilty have been the Zimbabwean bowlers. Every now and then they've tossed it up, every now and then they've bowled short. A free boundary, that's a good ball. But then also, the running between the and crew has been fantastic. Every opportunity that they've got, when the ball has been in the gap, they've taken it. And that just helps. It helps keep the scoreboard ticking. The cherry on top comes with the odd boundary. Reverse once again, and this time it beats everything. Regis Chikava will be disappointed with himself there. Raza had bowled that wide to evade a Lofty Eaton, who was trying to reverse sweep. Buys the result to add on to the total. They keep marching, the Namibians. 93 for 2 at the moment. Looks slow, but it is steady. Shots for call. T20I bounces short. Once again, another single. And it's within the 30-yard circle. This is what keeps hurting Zimbabwe. The singles within the 30-yard ring. They've got to stop these somehow. Try and build an over or two of pressure. Wobbled, Raza. Bowling it into the turf.
Making sure the batsman can't get under that. Seconder Raza. He also knows that he's got nobody in the circle in front of square on the onside. So anything there, he's got it himself. And that's struck firmly. It's straight to Tiripano. Long on the boundary. Fields particularly well. Ends the 14th over. 95 for 2.
As the juggling continues for Zimbabwe, Craig Irvine makes another change from the city end. Out goes Wesley Madevere. In comes Milton Chumba. Divine Lecoq on 49 of 35 balls. Has been a fantastic innings. Just one shy of what would be a very good half century. I'm sure he's looking forward to this milestone. And he gets it. Just a punch to the vacant mid-wicket area. Well battered, Divine Lecoq. However, the job is not done. It has been a good innings so far from him.
A steady knock. Been a very steady knock. Took advantage of the field restrictions in the first 6. And then he's just continued to push the ball around into the gaps. He's run well. And when the boundary ball has been presented in the latter part of the innings, he's put that away as well. He's the key to Namibia chasing down this total. Got to make sure that he stays out there, and he stays out there till the end. Not the easiest surface to come out and start batting on. So his wicket crucial for Zimbabwe.
And out there he needs to be if Namibia are to grab this one. And what do you know? What do you know? Lofty Eaton just trying to run down, and what a brilliant change of pace from Milda. The magical hand of the left arm spinner working. Fantastic stumping from Regis to cover behind the stumps. Another wicket falls for Namibia. Zane Green walks onto the park, and 96 for 3. Namibia now on the 15th over. The magic arm of Milton Chumba claiming his second wicket. Some good work by Regis to cover. That one was wide because Lofty Eaton was charging down the wicket. Zimbabwe sensing an opportunity here to pile on the pressure. We've been asking the bowlers for 2, if not 3 good overs so far. Milton Chumba has responded. It's not an easy wicket to bat on this, but one thing that's happening for sure is Divan Lecoq is watching wickets for on the other end, and I'm sure he's asking himself, am I playing on a different wicket compared to everybody else? Because he's been there for 36 deliveries and is on 50. So once again, a partnership is failing to build and show pressure, and the responsibility of seeing Namibia through lies on Divan Lecoq. But then what that means now, Tino, is he somewhat now has to stop his strike play. He's been going well. He has to somewhat play a subdued innings. He's watching wickets tumble on the other side. Does he continue with his aggression? Does he hold back a bit?
Like I said, he's got to make sure he's there at the end, Stanley. So, in as much as he's striking the ball well, yes, he continues to do that, but he's got to make sure that he keeps that wicket of his intact. Otherwise, as we've seen and we saw in the Zimbabwean innings, the batter coming in, finding it very difficult to get going on the surface. That's 15 overs done. Namibia's total 99 for 3.
A good start to the over by Namibia. 2 runs into one of the bigger parts of the ground. That delivery went. Sekunda Raza coming in from the airport end. And the equation at the moment is just that Namibia need 53 runs off 29 deliveries. 29 balls rather. Yeah, with 7 wickets in hand. The required run rate just on it. Joining me to talk about these last 5 overs is Eli. Eli, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Stanley Josa. Pretty crucial overs that we're left with. These last 5 or 4.5 overs will be very interesting for both sides. Zimbabwe will try and pin Namibia down. well, Namibia will seek to work their way to a good start of the series. Would be a win, something that the home side will not be happy about. But so far, with the way things have gone, it could go either way.
The last 5 overs, regarded as the last power play, Zimbabwe, this in their first innings effort, didn't score much. Okay, they were not able to find the fluency, the ball striking ability seemed somewhat non-existent, except for Craig Irvine, and without the striking ability of someone like a Sikandar Raza, because they kept losing wickets on regular intervals. So something, again, that Namibia find themselves in. Similar situation. How many more can they get in this last power play is the key. But importantly for them, they have a batsman who's in form, a batsman who's in, a batsman who's somehow found his way in making sure he's used to the conditions. Another huge strike, can he stop it? And it's a maximum. And it's that man again, Divock, continuing in his merry way. 6 runs.
Devon Lecoq taking advantage of a short pitched ball, and he goes for the maximum, choosing to go for the longer side of the boundary, and manages to clear the man at long on. Pressure back on Sikandar Raza.
What this has done is that it has turned that into a massive over for Namibia as they continue on their merry way. After the 16th over, Namibia looking comfortable and 111 for 3. Milton Chumba being trusted by Craig Irvine to continue.
Some beautiful stats that Milton Chumba has so far in his 2 overs that he's bowled. He's got 2 wickets for 6 runs. So definitely be hoping that he could pick up a few more wickets and put Namibia under pressure.
Quicker, shorter ball, and I'll tell you what, the Namibians have been ruthless. Every time he's bowled that, it's gone for 6 runs. You can't blame them. It's been handed out. They have to score.
Attempt to reverse, pick single instead.
Poor fielding that from Tendai Chitara. Needed to be quicker than that. That ball was straight to him.
Yeah. Anticipation. You need to anticipate the ball coming to you at any part of the field, especially in these latter stages of the game. Game awareness is very important. It's in the slot. Will they get the man? Clears with ease. 6 runs to Devon Lecoq. Pushes him to 66.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that is a brilliant stroke from Devon Lecoq. He's seeing it like a football at this moment in time. Milton Chumba dragging that short, wide. And tell you what, it had the pace for Devon Lecoq to place it anywhere in the ground and the long on boundary. Brilliant shot. He keeps on. The Namibians keep marching on. And what that helps is they keep up to the run rate. It's aerial. Brilliant. Brilliant catch from Luke Jongwe. This is the man that Zimbabwe needed. And Milton Chumba, what a day he's having with the ball in hand. You'd have thought that ball was falling in no man's land, but look, Jongwe, we talk of youthful exuberance. He had the pace, and he got to the catch. 119 for 4. Namibia are now.
Devon Lecoq not getting to that one. Coming off the middle of the bat. In the end, skyrocketed, didn't have enough power going against the wind. And he just held up enough for Luke Jongwe to get under it and take a fantastic catch. Good cricket from Milton Chumba. Picks up his 3rd wicket. Good stats he has so far. New batter, David.
With the run rate moving towards the 10s and above, the man you certainly need at this moment in time walking onto the crease, David Visa. Power hitter, world renowned, and you need every run he's going to get and his ability to clear the boundary, which will be more important. Namibia, which lost the one batter that we were talking about, who was key to making sure that they crossed the line, Devan Lecoq, and now leaves the job to Zane Green and David Visa. 120 rather for 4. Namibia are.
In this stage of the game, Zimbabwe will need to take advantage of the 2 new batters at the crease, try and put them as much under pressure as they can, because they will be looking to try and hit the ground running in these last few overs that are there, and trying to get that 34 runs that is needed. So a target Zimbabwe that will try and make it difficult. Milton Chumba has done well so far, 3 for 15. Trying to finish off his 3rd over. Cracked, but only for a single from David Visa. Finishes Milton Chumba's 3 overs with figures of 3 for 16. 121 for the loss of 4 after 17 overs.
Tendai Chitara, the senior statesman. Tell you what, there's plenty of experience here in Tendai Chitara, and that's exactly what is needed at this moment in time.
If ever there's an over that is key in the game, it is this one. How each team chooses to go about it will determine which side takes it for the day.
Good start. Brilliant. Look at the stats. David Visa has played worldwide in the majority of the T20 competitions around the world. The number one stat that comes up is how you need to angle it into him. One of his uncomfortable areas. And Tendai Chitara, I'm sure Craig Irvin, having done his homework, knew exactly the perfect matchup for David Visa in bringing Tendai Chitara back. 2 batters on the crease. The question is, how do they approach this innings, considering the position that Namibia are in? Zane Green 8, David Visa, yes, just come in 2 of 2.
Pulled away, and a run away for the boundary. Eases the pressure on Namibia. That good start that Tendai Chitara had with his first one, it's all done away with. Pressure's back on the bowling side. 5 runs of 2 balls of the over so far.
Tendai Chitara guilty. That delivery, even if it not got much contact from the batsman, would have been given him. But Zane Green, skilled enough to make sure he gets maximum, finds the gap and finds the boundary. Much needed boundary.
Well bowled.
Pace off. But Zane Green just steering that down to the 3rd man fielder, Milton Chumba, just for the 1. 6 runs already in 3 balls. Presence of mind Zane Green has. Sometimes you don't have to fight fire with fire, but if you can continue to get that 1 odd boundary and rotate the strike, just to make sure you're keeping up with the run rate.
Chitara coming back, trying to work his way in this over to finish off well. It's pace off. You only get 1.
Question for me though, Eli, for someone like Tendai Chitara. Yes, we know David Visa doesn't like the ball that is angled back in for length. Do you continue bowling length to both batters? Why not use your Yorkers perhaps to Zane Green, who's not well known for his striking ability, and then perhaps sticking to your angled in deliveries to David Visa? Considering where we are now, this is the 18th over. We know there's not much runs on the board. Perhaps time to shut off.
It'll be a good time to shut off all tapes. But then, like you said, the choice of bowl that you would choose to bowl be key in how your team finishes off. But the Yorkers, we know it's always a tricky ball to try and bowl. Might execute it very well, but if you miss the mark, you will go for plenty. And with a man known like David Visa, you don't want to give him a full toss in the end. He might place you anywhere on the field of play. Chatara looking to finish the over well. Pitches it short. Does not carry forward to Brendan Mafuda at backward square. Pick up a single. Tendai Chatara will finish off his overs. And the mark of the 18th, 130 for the loss of 4 for Namibia.
Luke Jongwe from the city end. I'll tell you what, this is an important over for Luke Jongwe, the penultimate over, that is.
Well, these last 2 overs stand 24 needed.
He has the skill. The question is, can he nail it?
Pitches it short. Pulled away, but it'll only be for 2.
Well, 2 important runs at this moment in time. Zimbabwe once again looking to use more of the changes in pace as opposed to try and nail their Yorkers. The question is, if they're not successful, it's something I'd like to think themselves. Perhaps we should have used our Yorkers instead of cutters. But if they're successful, well, the wicket is responding to the changes in pace. So it's up to Luke. Can he execute? Once again, short, but pace off, and it finds the man at deep mid-wicket in Brendan Mafuta. Importantly, though, it takes the big striker in David Visa.
Takes David Visa off strike, but still Zane Green, quite an innovative batter as well. So it might lessen the pressure just a bit, but still there's potential that this game could go either way.
Zimbabwe choosing to delay their death bowling. Just looking to use the pace off the wicket a lot more. Preferring to use their variations. Tendai Chitara did in his previous over. Now Luke Jongwe continuing from the city end as well. Once again, cut is worth just the one. As long as they're scoring 1s and 2s, perhaps Zimbabwe will be fine, because at this moment where it stands, you're looking at a run rate of 12 to the over. Means Zimbabwe at the start of this over, Namibia required 24 of 12 balls. So perhaps, as long as there's no boundary, Zimbabwe might be quite happy. But remember, the key factor at this moment in time is Davies. He is still there. So as much as possible, you need to dry this over and make sure you leave plenty for the 20th over. Brilliant. That is exactly what I'm asking for. Brilliant Yorker. David Visa can only get the one down to long on. where he finds a brilliant field and Sekanda Raza who shuts it off for one.
Experience is shown in execution in that Yorker by Luke Jongwe. Two very well experienced bowlers being used by Zimbabwe in the latter stages. Tendai Shatara and Luke Jongwe. Looks to finish over the keeper.
It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen as long as you're bowling length on this wicket. Yes, you're taking the pace off, but we spoke about the ingenuity of a batsman like Zane Green. He knew what was coming and used the scoop to great effect this time. Scoop it over the wicketkeeper and find that all-important boundary. 15 runs required of 7 balls. Namibia need.
That boundary just swings the game once again into Namibia's favor. Zimbabwe had been pulling the strings, but now Luke Jongwe would need to try and finish off well. Swing and a miss.
I'll tell you what, that ball was very important. And fortunately for Zane Green is unable to find contact. And at the end of the 19th over, Namibia 139 for 4.
The final over. Stop with 1. Namibia need 14 from 5. The fans in the stadium, they are up cheering every dot ball or single because it's in Zimbabwe's favor.
I'll tell you what, all the spectators in the ground right now are not interested in how cold it is. They're interested in what is happening on the field of plays. Namibia requiring another 14 runs to win off 5 balls. Can Tendai Shatara be the hero of the... He's got runs to play with. Yes, they're not much. It's only 14 runs. But can he defend them? That's the key question right now. Brilliant. Spoke about Yorkers. And what do you know?
Give it. Strikes Tendai Shatara. Picks up a wicket in his second ball of the last over. Zane Green looking to be innovative by Regis Chakava. Swings it into Zimbabwe's favor. 140 for 5.
Oh, I'll tell you what, the brilliance of Tendai Shatara. I've been asking for Yorkers since the 17th over, and this time he's delivered. And would you know, faint nick, because even the batsman himself looked surprised as to why the umpire gave that out. But however, all important, it's a dot ball. And what it does, it brings in a new batter at a time when Namibia were requiring a bit of fluency, and which is what Zane Green had. And at this time, it's Ruben Trumpelman who has to walk to the crease, and with lots and lots of work to do.
Well, an interesting position to be finding yourself coming at the crease in the last over where your team needs 14 runs on the board. You need to get in and go running. Either you take a quick single to put in the batters and form on strike, or you seem to go yourself. It's an interesting situation that Namibia find themselves in. They've done so well pretty much so far in the game, but in these last stages, the wheels are slowly just coming off. Will they have the nerve to see this through?
Even Stevens. It is. Back of a length, Tendai Shatara. But he has one of his quickest fielders in the right position. Sekanda Raza coming in quick and just making sure that attempted pull sticks to 1. I'll tell you what, it has been an interesting day. Yes, it has been cold. There's been a cold breeze coming across the field of play. David Visa
changing bat. Will it be the one that will make him see Namibia through? or Zimbabwe will they continue on this trajectory whereby they seem to be strangling Namibia every ball that is left in this game?
As long as there's no boundaries, Zimbabwe should be fine. Brilliant. Yes. Been asking for Yorkers, and yes, tonight Chitara is delivering. Second round attempt, Reggie. Unfortunately for Reggie, has missed that stumping. What would have been a fantastic piece of fielding from the quick Wesley Madevere. And what it does, what it means importantly for Namibia is David Visa is back on strike.
It's action-packed all around. It was well bowled and then good running as well from Namibia. It just takes this one down to the wire. 2 balls left. 11 runs needed.
Brilliant. Brilliant bowling from Chatara. Donald Tiripano.
They come back for 2.
A good fielding on Tiripano. Coming in from a wide middle, long off. Cuts that one out. And what it means is Namibia require 9 runs off the last ball. I'll tell you what, a fantastic bowling effort. And this over, it has been from Tendai Chatara. And importantly for me, though, Eli, is how the statesman, the big guy, has depended on what we've always been asking for. Yorkers, they do the job, they get the job done.
The experience from the 2 bowlers that Zimbabwe is using the last 2 overs, Jongwe.
Yorker. And it's the last ball of the Namibian innings. And what does that mean? It's just a single. And Zimbabwe victorious in this first T20 International here at Queen's Sports Club. The first between these two. And Zimbabwe win this one quite comfortably in the end.
A good game that we've heard on the cards. 154 was the total that Namibia were chasing after Zimbabwe posting 153. But I tell you, Namibia have given a good account of themselves in this first game. So definitely an action-packed 4 matches that we are remaining with in this series, with Zimbabwe taking the first one.
What a brilliant game eventually. But I'll tell you what, there was plenty of excitement in the Namibian innings. Courtesy of Divana Lecoq. A brilliant 6-6 of just 43 deliveries. And that was an innings that one thought would really see Namibia cross the rope. But ably supported by Craig Williams as well. 25 runs of 34 deliveries. And Zane Green, who looks quite entertaining, 19 of 15. However, it was the bowling of Zimbabwe, and once again, the impact of spinners. We talk of the left-arm spin of Milton Chumba. 3 wickets for just 16 runs in 3 overs, and that was the impetus that really slowed down the Namibian charge.
Brendan Mafuta as well was key in that, in his bowling figures. Tendai Chatara, the statesman, as well, picking up 1 wicket in the last over for 25 runs in his 4 overs. So that is how it all ended for Namibia, falling short 9 runs, a chase of that 154 target set by Zimbabwe.
Well, what a fantastic game it was. And I'll tell you what, as the 2 teams shake hands, we're still looking forward to more entertaining T20 cricket here at Queen's Sports Club. We are in the heart and soul of the city of the kings and queens, Bulawayo. We hope to see you in the next 2 days. Good evening.